Welcome back to the show. Israelis woke up a day after Independence Day with another reason to celebrate. Maybe it depends on who you ask. Pop superstar Justin Bieber landed in Tel Aviv last night, and tonight he will hit the stage at Tel Aviv's largest park. Joining us now with the details outside his hotel is I-24 News lifestyle correspondent Maya Kramer. Hey Maya, what can you report from there?
Oh, wow. It has been a Justin Bieber frenzy. Things have really calmed down. This is the leftover of what was here. I'm going to give you a quick timeline of what happened since I've been here. I heard last that he left the hotel this morning. Even though he had left the hotel, there were tons and tons of Bieber fans all around the hotel, running back and forth from the entrance of the hotel to the entrance of the parking lot, waiting for him to come back. Apparently, he has still not come back. Just seconds ago, there were two huge vans here with all his dancers and bands coming out into the vans, going apparently to Park HaYarkon, to the park, for his performance tonight. Justin Bieber, as I have heard, I got some inside information from his driver, his personal driver, that he's actually not in the hotel. He is actually right above the hotel, taking a tour of Israel in a helicopter of some sort. So all these fans that were here running around waiting for Justin, or looking for him, or thinking he's in the hotel, or waiting outside to see if he'll come out on his balcony, little did they know that all they had to do was look up in the sky, because Bieber's in the sky.
Yeah.
So now what's happening now is most of the fans have gone over to the park, because they have to wait online to get into the park to get good seating on the grass. Tickets are on sale between about $200, I don't know, about $50 to $250. Some bought $500 tickets to sit in the Golden Circle. I am still here at the hotel. Some leftover fans over here still hoping that maybe Justin Bieber will come out.
Maya Kramer, thanks so much for this. And joining us now to talk sex and relationships is sexologist Dr. Limor Blockman. Hi, Limor.
Hi,
so, you know, as we know, Justin Bieber fans are millennials and they're Generation X, and we have another reason to connect these two.
Absolutely. So it's very surprising. You know, they went ahead and checked and examined in a study what's going on with these millennials. What are they doing? What are they busy with? I assume, you know,
iPhones.
Holding an iPhone. But in general, they were gathering information from over 26,000 people. A part of it was were members of the millennials, actually, people that were born between the 80s and 2000s, and Generation X, the predecessor, which of course is people that were born between the 60s and the 80s. And we're looking at it, and it's very surprising. Unfortunately, the result is very unfortunate. They're not having that much sex, which is coming in a very stark contrast to...
These are millennials?
Yes.
Okay.
Not having too much sex, not having at all so much sex. I'm just going to give you some data. So 15% of millennials that are now in their 20s haven't been sexually active since they turned 18. So that's very surprising. Yeah. Comparing to Generation X, 6% or so, or even less, they were not sexually active since turning 18. Moreover, Generation X high school kids were not having sex, Generation X high school kids were having sex in approximately 55% of the students, and now we're looking at 35% or less than people, people being sexually active, which is very interesting. And of course, as I said, it comes in a very stark contrast to the hookup culture that we assume, oh, they're having so much sex, not really having so much sex with themselves, let alone with a lot of people.
Well, you said it's unfortunate, but is it really? Because I feel like kids at these age, obviously everyone matures at different rates, but it could be a good thing. First of all, teen pregnancy, the spread of STDs, and being emotionally secure with decisions that you make.
If it is the reason, that's great, and we are seeing lower rates of STDs, which is great. But there is a problem with the fact that, the accessibility to pornography, the fact that we're so consumed with ourselves, looking at the phones, not being, interacting. And the main thing, I think, that is the problem is the fact that the fear of intimacy, and sex being the epitome of intimacy, is the main thing that is the problem with this generation, not really interacting, not really creating anything with the opposite sex or with the same sex, which is somewhat of a problem, and I think that should be overcome. But if we're talking about people in this generation and the predecessor generation, we're looking at the older generation.
Okay.
And what's going on with them?
What's going on with them? What are these, like the baby boomers?
Yeah, or even older. So the sample in this study was over 2,200 people aged 57 to 85. So we're looking at people older, and we were examining whether cardiovascular health was promoted by having sex, which is always talked about. You should have sex, you should be more sexually active to keep yourself healthy, to keep your heart health. And they went and examined it. The results were somewhat surprising, I would say, because they found that men that were having sex more than once a week, and moreover enjoying and taking a lot of pleasure in this sex, were more, and I want to just say that in this sample they took information from them at one point and then 5 years later to see if they were suffering from hypertension, from heart attacks and things like that. And they found that men that were actually having more sex than more than once a week were prone to hypertension and heart attacks twice as much.
Oh, so it is a risk, huh?
It is a risk, but the thing is, for women, the picture was completely opposite.
So it's better for women.
It's absolutely amazing for women. If you are a woman, have more sex. That was the result of it.
Yeah.
Do we have another minute?
We don't have enough time, but Limor, thanks so much for this Sex Through the Ages.
Yes.
Wonderful. Thanks so much. Coming up next, we'll take you inside the Japanese luxury train that will set you back 10 grand a ticket. But first, the news.